Aloha, Namaste, Sitaram, Assalamu Alaikum, Shalom, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to Divine Soul Journey. Why Divine Soul Journey? Well, we connect to a higher being, our divine. We all have a soul, and on our soul, it's been on a lifetime journey and will continue to be in that journey until we reach enlightenment. And we're here to share our journeys with you. We have similar journeys, so we're hoping that our teachings, our words, our wisdom, especially with our guests, all the many guests we have, will somehow resonate with you. As a disclosure, I have to say we're not here to convince you of anything whatsoever. This is not about religion. We respect your faith and your beliefs. It is my pleasure on a part 4 series of the spiritual channels. This amazing woman full of knowledge and wisdom, Master Marilyn Smith, who is with the Tao Academy and has been doing this for eons. So why not listen to her? And please do catch us on the last 3 where we talked about soul communication, the direct soul communication, the third eye. And she will recap briefly on those. And today is about the direct knowing channel. If you want to find out more, please do connect with us at DSGshow2020@gmail.com. And you can also connect with me at info@theexperientialcoach.com if you choose to as well. Well, let's bring on. Welcome, Marilyn Smith. Welcome. We should just make up a bed here with you, for you. So, because we have a lot of things we have to talk about in many occasions. We'll be talking about your gratitude book at some point in time, about gratitude and all the different follow-ups. This will be an ongoing series that will never end, and I'm so happy for that. But today, we're going to focus on the direct knowing channel.
That would be absolutely delightful, Dianne. I'd love to come back many, many times because you're right. There's so many topics. And the one for today is one that I think many, many people are really attracted to and have a connection to it. But before I go on to the topic for today, let me just very briefly recap the other 3.
Well, before you do that, Marilyn, let's briefly recap a little bit, just a couple of minutes or so, about who is Marilyn in the first place.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you were going to do that.
No. I always believe, Marilyn, that nobody can actually introduce anyone like themselves. I always believe that.
Okay, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm one of the master teachers certified through Tao Academy. And what that means is I have been a student of Dr. and Master Sha and have reached a certain level of ability in significant areas. Healing, teaching, spiritual life, and Master Sha has given the title that Dianne uses, Master. We actually don't use that term anymore in general conversation. We're just called, by my name, Marilyn Smith. And I went to my first workshop with Master Sha the weekend after 9/11. And that workshop literally changed my life. So I started to go to all the other things that Master Sha offered. I was an intern in a Korean healing arts program when I first began with Master Sha, and then gradually shifted over to doing only Master Sha's work. And I also, career-wise, profession-wise, have been an elementary educator. And that was absolutely the most fun experience. I learned so much from the children, especially the years that I taught first grade. In that career, I taught the last part of my career. I taught children who were 2 years below grade level in reading, math, or both. And I had learned techniques that were particularly helpful to people who struggled with learning to read, learning to do math. And those techniques were amazing. The results were really so exciting. So that was career-wise. Right now, I have my job is with Tao Academy. And one of the things I do with Tao Academy is coordinate the Tao Soul Communication Program. So that gives me wonderful, wonderful experience to be able to share with all of you on this program. I also coordinate small group sessions for the various programs that the Academy offers. Dianne mentioned one previously, the Kuan Yin Lineage Holder. There is Tao Science Messenger. There are many, many programs. You can look on the website for Tao Academy to see how many programs are offered. So whatever your interest is, more than likely there's a program there. So I think those are the highlights.
Oh, no, you forgot one. She is also the author of a book from Heaven's Library that was forwarded. The forward was by Dr. and Master Jigong Shah, and it's Gratitude, a Key to Happiness.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Before we do anything, we're so unorthodox when we do things here on the Divine Soul Journey. Why don't we take a minute or so, and you may want to just briefly introduce your chant and then do it. Who knows? Let's start off that way. We have to be grateful for what we have. We have to be grateful for you. We have to be grateful for all the knowledge and teachings and the ability to do this. And that's what gratitude is all about and more. So, please.
And I'm sorry, Dianne, I didn't catch what you asked me to do. What was it you wanted me to do?
I said, why don't you just briefly talk about, for a minute or so, talk about your chant, your gratitude chant, and then maybe we can do it for about a minute or two.
Perfect.
Because we should be grateful, and we are grateful for the ability to do everything that we're doing, and the learnings and the teachings and the wisdom, the ability to put all this together. So we should be grateful for you being here all these weeks with us as well.
Well, I'm grateful for the opportunity. Truly, I am.
So that's the gratitude.
The chant that Dianne has referred to is actually a mantra from the book, Gratitude Changes My Life. And I was teaching a group of students via, telephone, because at that time Zoom was not so common, in Australia. Because one of the things I had done was I had been in Australia to help establish Master Sha's teachings there. So I was invited on to be part of this weekend for these students. And the topic was gratitude. And as I was teaching it, I was doing this mantra, gratitude changes my life. And the tempo changed. And then all of a sudden it became a song. I loved it. And this is the song. And I use it a lot. I've given it to people to use when they want to bring a shift in their life, because gratitude changes our life. So I'll say it 3 times. By the 3rd time, I'm sure all of you will be able to join in. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life, my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life, my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life. Now, everybody join. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life, my life. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude changes my life. Gratitude changes my life. I love that. It's such a joyful song.
Beautiful. And you know something that just crossed my mind? You know, we always do forgiveness practice, but that's also a form of forgiveness. By being grateful and thankful. And however, everything is forgiveness, and everything is gratitude. And we have to be good. We have to be grateful for the ability to have choices. We have to be grateful for the ability that we can wake up every day and we can paint our own canvas, shift our destiny, change our day, and even with the spiritual channels, the ability to understand this more so you can understand yourself more, and not to compare it. But probably we all have been guilty of that. I know I've been guilty of everything, I'm sure. However, the fact is, just accept who you are, where you are right now, and just learn to move forward in the direction that you would like to move into. So sorry, go ahead, Marilyn.
Oh, what I have kind of as a picture in my mind for gratitude and forgiveness is one flows into the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it just is a continuous flowing back and forth. That when we are grateful, often we have an awareness that there's something there where I need to ask forgiveness. And when we are forgiven, the gratitude that flows from that is so huge. And so they just kind of flow back and forth and expand out more and more and more and more.
Beautiful. And I just said that because sometimes people get so hung up in saying, did I say the right words for the forgiveness? You can say anything you want, any mantra, make up any words, and that is a form of forgiveness. So you don't have to be so hard on yourself. However, let's talk about the direct knowing channel.
Okay, and so would you like me to kind of briefly recap the other 3, or just go?
No, go
right.
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
So this, and it'll be very brief.
Yep. Go ahead.
People can go back and listen if they want more information. So the first of the spiritual channels, the foundation, is soul language and translation. Soul language is the language of the soul world. There's really only one soul language, and that is the way the soul world communicates between themselves and with us. So our soul language can be released when we go to a workshop, read a book, whatever it is. And it's the language of our own soul. And even though I said there's one soul language, which is actually very true, the way it is expressed, the way it sounds from one person to another will be different. The way it is expressed according to how a person is using it will be different. So, for example, if you're giving a teaching, it will sound like talking, like you're giving a teaching. If you are giving a blessing to someone to help shift something in their lives, it will sound different. But it is still one language. So that's really important. And it gives us a very pure information from the soul world. It does not have any of the baggage that our conventional speech has. We receive a clear, pure message that has the power actually to transform whatever aspect of our life we happen to be asking about. And we also have the possibility to develop the ability to translate the soul language. So briefly, that's soul language and translation. The next channel would be direct communication. So that would be receiving a message, wisdom, teaching, guidance, directly from the soul world in your own language, whatever language it is that you use. It may be your mother language, it may be your adopted language. You don't use your mother language so much anymore. So you receive the message directly in the language that you use on a daily basis. And it's very clear. Usually it's concise. It answers exactly the question you asked. And it is of great, great benefit. I do this every day myself. I have a very special saint that I connect with, and I make the question very simple. What is the guidance for today? And then I receive the guidance for the day. If I have a specific question, then I ask that, and I get an answer to that specific question. There's also the third eye, and this sometimes is referred to as the spiritual eye. And through the third eye, a person receives images from the soul world. And these images need to be interpreted. So it's important to avoid giving a literal meaning to the images because they are really they're symbolic. They are not literal. And when we receive these images, there's huge, huge, huge wisdom that is connected with the images we receive. So being able to interpret them is extremely important. And that can be done through direct communication, or it can be done through soul language and translation. So this is a recap of the 3 spiritual channels that my teacher, Dianne's teacher, Dr. and Master Shah, has given us this wisdom. There are lots of workshops to help people to develop these channels, plus the one I will talk about today. And there is a regular certification program through Tao Academy, which I referred to earlier. So there are many, many possibilities for developing the spiritual channels. 2 of them are books. One of them is called Soul Wisdom, and it was published many years ago. But there are a lot of people who have opened their soul language simply by reading the book and doing the practice in the book. They've developed the beginning of the ability to translate by reading the book. So that's another way. I love it. I think it's very exciting that we can develop these spiritual abilities in this way through the books that Master Shah has published. So that's a recap of the previous 3 sessions.
Absolutely. And I just want to add on the second one is called simply soul communication. So
Oh, yes.
and definitely I recommend that you go and read the book. It's very simple language, very, very simple, easy to understand, and there's a lot of blessings and transmissions in the book. And I want everybody to know ahead of time, because we get so deep in conversation, we're not, and I'll let Marilyn later address it as as she needs to, whenever she decides to. With all these different communication methods or modalities, whatever you choose to describe it as, and the channels, do your best. Do your best. I know it's not as easy. Do your best not to compare them, because, and I'll let Marilyn explain that later on. When you compare them, you can lose a lot of the energy and you develop more blockages, and it holds you back from going on your soul journey. So every time you listen to these shows, be open and be present in the moment, not to compare one with the other. Now, I ask questions only because, as we talk about it, to have a better and clear understanding, to have a dialogue and communication, as which one is certain things and this in comparison. That's how I understand myself more. Not to believe, maybe I am guilty of comparing it because I'm also learning. So I just wanted to bring that across, that whatever we talked about the last show, that's those shows for that one. Don't compare it to this one, and so forth. Let each one resonate with you, and you get the learnings and teaching as you need or your soul wants in each and every show. So as we talk about the direct knowing channel, which is a fun one, and it's the 4th one, and I believe most people say it's one of the most powerful ones, and we'll let Marilyn talk more about that. But Marilyn, I just wanted to add that there so people can put their minds at rest who have heard all the shows so far, and just be present for this one and don't compare it with the other ones, because they might be building up a wall within themselves, confused, trying means fail. There's no fail. There's only messages and lessons to learn in regards to all of this, because it doesn't happen overnight by listening to 1 hour of a show to understand this. Oh, by no means whatsoever. So I just wanted to clarify that. But thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that clarification. It's really important. And the book that you mentioned, Soul Communication, really, that's one I strongly recommend also. In that book, at least 3 times, maybe as many as 5 times, the wisdom is do not compare, complain, or criticize. I used to call these the 3 C's. But when we compare, what we're actually doing is we're saying one thing is good and God did not do such a good job on the other. And none of us would want to say that out loud, much less think it. But that's actually what's happening with comparing. And in that book, it was more like I compare myself to another person who has an ability, say like direct communication or third eye. And I'll say, oh, I wish my third eye was as good as so-and-so's, or I wish my third eye was as good as, someone else, my direct communication. That kind of comparison, once again, is the same as saying, well, God, you did a really good job on that person, but you kind of slipped up when it came to me. Most of us would be shocked to even hear that thought, much less to say that kind of thing to the divine, the universe, the source, whatever name we use. We would not be that insulting. But that's actually what we are doing when we compare. And when we realize that that's what comparing is, that that's what complaining is, what criticizing is, it's a great motivator to transform it. So I just wanted to add that little bit, Dianne, because
Beautiful.
when that occurred to me, I thought, oh my goodness, I've got to change this.
You know what they say, how you do one thing is how you do everything, and things come into your life and they're just an example or analogy of something else, a representation, like we talked about, symbolic, right? So again, you can interpret it how you need to interpret it. If you're not sure, ask Divine Soul and say, okay, what's going on here? If you feel that something's not right, and you will get the answer in sensation or words or a dream or a touch or a feel or image. And just know that that's the knowledge. This is the other thing people don't understand. And I'm not here to criticize anyone whatsoever. We're all in different stages and phases. Is that, when we want to understand, and the knowledge and wisdom, whether it be 0.00000001% of what the whole picture is, it's just enough for you in that moment in time. Because if you're being given a whole book and you don't know how to read the book, but you're given a phrase, you can work with that phrase until you get to read the whole book. It's like learning how to read. So don't jump. Like, I can't swim, but I wouldn't jump in the pool without learning how to swim. It's like a baby learns a step. All these are analogies. So be patient, be calm, be respectful of everything what you're hearing right now and what is presented to you. Be somebody giving you a smile, somebody handing you a book, something, because it's going to take you where you need to be at a given point in time. No matter how minimal you believe that, oh, this is like, no, it's like tasting something that you have never tried yet, but you taste it, right? So that's what we're saying here right now is just be open-minded and you will get exactly what you need at this given point in time to take you to the next level. Sorry, Marilyn, I just need to clarify these that may have helped someone there. I don't know. I know it certainly does help me every time I say it because I keep forgetting about things as well. So we're always students. We're always teachers and students at the same time, even when we open our own mouths to tell you the truth.
Absolutely. So that was great. I'm glad you added that, Dianne, because it's an important realization to have. And the realization gets deeper and deeper as we continue on with what we are doing in this soul journey. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
With the spiritual channel, direct knowing, this is really a very, very special channel. And many people have a high level of intuition where they have a sense of what is going to happen or what needs to be done or the significance of something in their life. They just have a strong sense about it, a feeling. So some people will call that direct knowing. And you could say it is a level. I would actually say it's like the readiness for direct knowing. Because a very simple statement of what direct knowing is. The person has developed a very high level of purity so that person can connect directly with information from the divine, the Tao, source, whatever term you use. It would be the same as having a private line to heaven. I'm in the United States, so I'm going to use the president, the leader of the country. To have a direct line to President Joe Biden's desk that he would pick up the phone as soon as it rang. I would need a very special relationship with Joe Biden. I would need to be doing a very special task for the country to have that kind of direct line. I would be offering a high level of service. So that comparison, I think, is helpful in understanding what direct knowing is all about. It means that we have that kind of a direct private line that the divine, the Tao, the source answers. But not when we are asking questions. If we're asking questions and the answer comes, that's direct soul communication. We may be wondering about something, or maybe not even wondering about, when all of a sudden, from no place, we have not asked a question, maybe we have not even been meditating or doing a practice, we might be very involved in something else, and then, boom, all of a sudden, we receive a sentence that has such wisdom. That is direct knowing. It comes to us without us asking anything. And as I said, it might be something we've been wondering about, but we have not really done any communication on it. We have not received third eye images. It's just sort of there, Or we might be doing something completely unrelated. We haven't been wondering about it or anything. And boom, we get the answer. Or we get a piece of wisdom that will change our lives. And let me give you an example, because I think this is kind of vague. So let me give you an example. I had 3 different master teachers tell me that I did not have enough Jing. And I thought, okay, so I need to do those things to build and develop my Jing. And
Marilyn,
I made a commitment.
Marilyn, sorry, just please explain what Jing is.
Matter. I'm sorry, matter. So in Shen, Qi, and Jing, Jing is matter, but it's more than that. It also is the energy, the light that flows through the spinal column to the brain. It's a very essential part of our whole spiritual journey. So when they told me I didn't have enough, I thought, oh dear, this is not a good thing. And even on the level of matter, bodily presence, I tend to be a little bit on the thin side. So even from that perspective, I realized I needed a little bit more.
We call that thin, we call that the slim and sexy side. Everybody wants to be like that. So it's the slimming, sexy side. How much people pay money to be like us?
How funny. So anyway, I had this realization, and I had made the commitment that I was going to do practices, et cetera, to develop this. And I used to go to the center in San Francisco. I used to be on that staff before I was part of Tao Academy. And I really, really liked their blueberry scones. Really liked them. And I would go to Trader Joe's and buy scones and eat them. And not a whole package in one day, but over the course of several days, I would eat a package of blueberry scones, which it doesn't sound like such a big deal, but they have sugar in them. And the ingredients in that it's really not the best for our health. One day, as I was here in my apartment and I was doing something in the living room, I was walking through the living room and I heard, as if somebody was speaking to me out loud, I heard, "You are trying to develop your jing, and every time you eat refined sugar, you throw it all away." I hadn't asked. I was enjoying the refined sugar a lot. I wasn't even wondering about the scones. That came just as a bolt from heaven. But you know what? It changed my life. And at that very moment, I completely lost my taste for anything with refined sugar. Blueberry scones no longer have any appeal to me. And that's kind of a fun example on one level, but on another level, it is so significant for those who, again, it would be another whole program to talk about the significance of Jing. But you can find out by reading Master Sha's book, Tao 1 and Tao 2, especially Tao 1. So that's the kind of thing that direct knowing it's an example. Because
Absolutely.
it was information, great information. I changed my eating. But more than that, there was a transformation in my life. And because of that transformation in my life and in my soul journey, what I was able to bring to others was much, much greater. A lot of negative information was gone. It just was gone in that instant. I think you were going to say something, Dianne.
No, I'm just thinking here now. I'm diabetic, or so they say.
Okay.
And I'm thinking,
Okay.
geez, the cheesecake and the tiramisu I bought yesterday with the ice cream. I was like, oh, now you have me thinking about all the sugars and just in this lives.
Well, you know, the message for me does not necessarily have to be the message for
Oh,
everybody.
no. Trust me, it's a message for me. You'll be surprised. I bought it for a different reason too, but I mean, I have it when I'm working on, my pancreas. Absolutely. However, no, like I said, you'd be surprised. It's just being open to the consciousness, the wisdom, and the teachings, and the stories. I love stories. So go ahead. No,
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about that. Just talking about, because I love blueberry scones as well. So I haven't had one in ages, but
I know. It is so amazing because I have had in the past what is usually called a sweet tooth.
mm-hmm.
And ice cream and all those kinds of things, I truly enjoyed them. And I tried to be balanced in the way I would, include them in what I ate. But I always made sure that there was some available. That, it doesn't even appeal to me now.
I went through that phase.
Find,
I went through that phase a long time ago when I started taking the B12 and all my cravings for sugars and stuff went. I just have it here because sometimes from time to time people come over and although I eat certain things with the starches, I feel like I have to have something a little bit sweet sometimes only because for whatever reason, right?
mm-hmm.
So no,
Yeah.
I understand that definitely. So our body is there to protect us, and I have been fortunate too as well, where things got knocked down that would have probably ended up in a hospital, and I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother story. But definitely, we never know that. I mean, we know what refined sugar, but sometimes we have to hear it 1,001 time for it to resonate with us, right? So, no, I do appreciate you sharing that story, and you shared that story for a reason. Could be me for many other people as well. So definitely,
Yeah.
Please do go
But
ahead.
it's so interesting too, because I, like everybody else, knew about refined sugar. I've known about it my whole life, just about, since I was maybe in high school. Well, no, it wasn't such a big issue then.
But my
But in
dad,
the recent
but
past,
listen, my dad was diabetic in his 20s. So all my life I knew my mom used to use whole wheat this. My dad used to buy, although my dad didn't eat it, but he used to buy, when those days when he used to travel, he would buy sugar-free candy, sugar-free cookies. But he didn't eat it. He just left it there. Just stayed. Nobody liked it. So I grew up being, with diabetes, my grandmother, everybody around us. Half my
oh
siblings I
wow,
now. Yeah. So it's not like I don't know about it. However, when I was pregnant with my 3 kids, I was gestational. And many years ago, but then the medicines, when I tell honestly, please, I want to say right now, don't do what I did. Please consult your doctor. When I was, I, at the time when I met, or went back to Mastershore, I was on medication, metformin and Jaminet. That was getting me so sick on top of everything else was going on. I felt like my life was spinning, and that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I got so sick. I lost weight. I mean, I was in the bathroom. It got me sick. I couldn't drink milk, you name it. I was so sick. And then in the weekend I did my Dow hands, I stopped taking my medication. I felt better.
oh wow.
Is that a smart thing to do? No. However, within that and this, believe me, I felt so much better. My body, but again, please keep in mind, my body was going through a phase. Does that mean my sugar readings are not still high? Yes. However, I'm working on, and I should be doing more, of course, to work more to heal, because the body can heal. But the way I felt then, Marilyn, compared to now, I, it's like night and day. Literally night and day.
Yeah.
The medication was getting me sick because my body was wanting to heal itself, but because I was giving it things it didn't like, it was making it worse. So, and there's more to that story. But I don't take the medication anymore. I have to go get tested and so forth. But I want to, and I was sick recently, so I couldn't go for anything. I want to work on it. I don't want to be on medication. It made me miserable. Like, so miserable. I can't even begin to, and that was just one part of my life. So when you have one part of your life that's upset, not congruent to where you are, not in the right, not working for you, the rest of everything will go the same direction. And it did. It did with my kids, it did with my family, it did with everything else. Everything just went, it was all over the place, very chaotic. So again, what we are saying is that work with what works best for you, but be smart about it, and don't do things if you don't know what you're doing. Research it. But sorry, I just want to add that on there, just to let people know how we're not perfect, but we have to listen to our bodies sometimes. And I've been saved many times in life with eating things, or the glass of, I don't drink wine, but a glass of wine fell down and I could have been killed. I actually literally could have died, must be. So I was like, okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't even drink the wine, but I don't like wine. But it happened. The whole glass got knocked down because it was in my fridge doing nothing. And I was like, I got to get rid of this thing. But it had sulfate in it. Sulfur or sulfate, which apparently I'm as sensitive to, which I don't know, but now I know. So, so all these things are coming back to all these channels we're talking about and the guidance, and certain things happen because. So just be open-minded. It's not one or the other. That's why we don't compare it or disassociate each one and disconnect it. They're all connected. But I don't want to interrupt you since we have a few minutes left. Continue what you were saying, but I just wanted to add that on there. I could tell you stories, girl. You'll be surprised. And thank you, our audience. We're with Marilyn Smith from the Tao Academy, talking about the spiritual channels on the part 4 series of the Direct Knowing channel. So go back and listen to the other ones. You'll be surprised what you can learn. I know I'm learning a lot, but go ahead, please.
So it's wonderful to be able to share, and always there's new information. When we share something, we receive new information. So that's really a wonderful thing also. And people listening many would already have an idea about direct knowing, but listening with an open heart will make so much more available. And I guess just what I really want to go back to is that, so that we don't lose it in the details of the story, because the story to me is kind of, it's really quite amazing that we would use the expression out of the blue. It seemed to come from no place, but it was directly from the divine, the Tao source, whatever term you use that has meaning for you. And it related directly to the situation in my life that would transform every aspect of my life, so that I would be able to bring that transformation to others. Not to tell them, stop eating refined sugar. That's not the point. But because of my experience and the tangible result of losing any desire to eat anything that was sweet or sweetened unnaturally with refined sugar, because a lot of fruit is quite sweet. That's a different story. But having lost this desire to eat things with refined sugar, I was able, as a result of that, to have a tangible, concrete experience in my life that I was aware of. Loving scones, not even wanting to see them. That's pretty concrete. That's pretty tangible. Let me know on a very deep level that lots and lots and lots of negative information had been released and transformed.
Now, before you go any further, we have to bring you back to talk about, because we have to wrap up at the moment. You said something very important. There were two things. One, with this, it comes from the heart, the message center, which we call the fourth chakra. But when you're talking about these messages and the neurotransmitters in your mind, and it's getting disrupted and it's getting eaten away, and it's there's lapses, or it's chopped up, this is what we're talking about. All of these things we're talking about. I remember growing up, I grew up in Trinidad, and of course we had sugar cane, and that sugar, all this refined, the quality that we had then, we don't know what cancer was and lupus and diabetes. We know what diabetes because my dad was. But the point is, that was a different quality to the mass-produced commercial that they do now with these products, which is damaging your body more. So we have to talk about how, come back, Marilyn, and talk about how all these things can affect the neurotransmitters in your brain, in your cells. That's a whole nother story. There's so much we can talk to Marilyn about, as you talked about the brain. So that's something we could look into as well. If not on this show, maybe you could do it on the live show. But I'm saying we have to understand what these things do. I know you only talk about the scones, but it goes beyond the scones. We go deeper beyond that. And this is what we're trying to do here.
That's the point. And that's what I want to emphasize. We can get all intrigued and fascinated by the details. That's not the point. The point is those details are tangible and concrete. We all understand sweet stuff, scones. We understand that. But that was like the vehicle. That was the channel. That was, but the point of the direct knowing was to give me wisdom that I could live by. And in receiving that wisdom, the direct knowing channel is such a high frequency and vibration that when we receive a message, there is a level of transformation. There is a level of negative information that is cleared. That's a key point with direct knowing. If we truly have direct knowing, we will be transformed by the experience. The before and after will be different. And that's what that's what I want to emphasize.
Absolutely.
And that story is a good way of helping people understand it. But the significance of that story is a message was received. It was extremely high frequency and vibration. It transformed negative information, and I was different afterwards.
Well, it created a clear path. That again,
yes.
You have to understand. But most people, and they do, and everybody here is very, very intelligent. Our beautiful audience here is that everything in your body, every cell, no matter if it's in your toe, even like the meridians and so forth, and the acupressure points, everything is connected. Every single cell, I talk about microcell, is connected to everything in your body. Every other cell in your body, every matter, every single you can possibly think of. So when you affect one, you affect the other ones, everything else in minute amount or massive amounts over time. And this is what we're here to say. But my lovely Marilyn, so tell us, as we have to go soon, your messages. What would you like to say to all of you, and also how we can find you?
Okay, thank you. So what I would say is, if having a particular spiritual channel has great appeal to you, that's okay, but no attachment. Really have great reverence and respect for building a solid foundation and maintaining a solid foundation, which is soul language and translation. The more that each one of us builds that foundation and maintains it, the easier the other channels will become part of who we are. So work on the foundation. No, don't work on it. Keep a focus on the foundation and enjoy the process. It is a beautiful process. And just think of a building. When the building has a solid foundation and it's maintained, it can become a very, very high building with many, many layers to it. That's our spiritual journey. So that would be what I would say to everyone.
Beautiful.
And do not discount it because it's not as exciting. It will be the more you develop it. And then the easiest way to connect with me is either through my Facebook page, Marilyn Smith, WWR, or probably the fastest, most reliable way is through email, marilyn.smith@drshaw.com.
Thank you. And that's SMITH, Smith. And the two books she referred to was Soul Communication as well as Soul Wisdom by Dr. and Master Dianne Ojar. I'm looking at the books right now to open to the consciousness to find out more. There are many, many things you can Google and search, mantras, different, words, phrases you can use. We do everything and we use everything. And here's the thing. All these things happen so fast in a split moment. You don't even have time to analyze which is which. You just have to be grateful. And you know, gratitude changes our lives. Remember that. And this is what we have to be grateful for. We're grateful for Marilyn to come here today 4 times to talk about, and we'll have a back on different topics. 4 times to talk about each and every one of these spiritual channels. We have total gratitude for you all listening. We have total gratitude for you to take this information, the knowledge, the wisdom, and implement it in your life so you can take action. It may have been something we said in conversation, in serious conversation, and it may be something we were laughing about that resonated with you. We reached a point in life we don't take life so seriously. We take it lightheartedly. And what I mean by that, we embrace whatever comes in our faces as presented to us. It will help us down the road to clear that pathway that we're on. Is it going to happen overnight? No, that's why we're here on Divine Soul Journey. To be on that journey with you. If you want us, you choose to share your story, please connect with us at dsjshow2020@gmail.com. If you have a question for Marilyn, please do reach out to her at marilyn.smith@drshaw.com. If you have a question for me, please reach out at dsjshow2020@gmail.com. We're here for you. I know we're global, and I just want to say thank you all so much. And Marilyn, I want to say thank you so much for spending this time. You know, your words of wisdom, your storytelling, your knowledge, you know, what your life experience. I want you to know that we are grateful for it, for you to share this with us. Because sometimes we believe we know what we know, but really and truly, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And until we know what we know, then we will know what we need to know. I don't expect anybody to understand what I just said there. By the way, I was not speaking to you. I was speaking to your unconscious mind, your soul. Because if you go to analyze that, you'll never get it. But what can you be doing right now? If you were doing, would take you to where you need to be. So I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you so much, Marilyn. Thank you to the Tao Academy. And yes, thank you, Master Shah, for being here. Again, I'm not here to convince you who is our master teacher, who is our divine. I'm not here to convince anyone. But the music you're hearing is very strong energy and vibration. I'm just saying it saved my life. It saved Marilyn's life. And if you're listening to this show, you're looking for something. How can we help you get you on the path? Whatever your question is, we will respect your faith. We will respect your beliefs. We're not here to convince you about anything. This is not about religion. We have everybody in every culture, every religion here. This is not about religion. This is about you and your soul journey. So until next time on Divine Soul Journey, this is Dianne Ojar and Marilyn Smith said thank you so much. And we look forward to hearing from you. And we look forward for you coming back again with all our wonderful guests. And don't worry, you haven't seen the end of Marilyn. You haven't heard the end of Marilyn yet. Absolutely. So on that note, thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful. And gratitude can change our life. So on that note, aloha, namaste, sitaram, assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night to each and every one of you. We love you, we honor you, appreciate you. And please do share the love, peace, and harmony within yourself and out there with everyone. Have a great, great evening, everyone. Thank you.